Hello and welcome to Drive-In Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan.
I'm Ryan.
And this is the podcast where we talk about 2 movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before we get into this week's episode, be sure that you are subscribed to the Drive-In Double Feature Patreon over at patreon.com. For $5 a month, you help support the channel, and you are not supporting those counterfeit Drive-In Double Feature podcasts. Remember, any other podcast about cult movies, old movies, hell, even James Bond movies, those are counterfeit. Those are fake versions of our podcast. Don't listen to those. Only support this one. And if you help support us for $5 a month, you can help us take them out.
Yeah, we'll take them out.
No, I'm just kidding. We will not take them out, but we will say thank you. That's what we'll do. And you get some nice content over there.
Mm-hmm.
But getting into this Tuesday's episode, we are talking about To Live and Die in L.A. from 1985, directed by returning director William Friedkin, starring William Petersen and Willem Dafoe. So we got the 3 W's. We got a pretty big cast going on here. This is a piece of 80s or crime cinema. I've seen it before, but the last time I saw it was 2011. And everything has left my brain since then. I kind of remember the general theme. I forgot a lot about it, actually. I just heard, it's funny. Nicholas Winding Refn said this movie inspired Drive. So I was like, at that time, I was in Drive fever. And I was like, I got to watch this one. And I actually didn't love it. I remember liking it enough, but not loving it. Do you have any experience with this one, Ryan?
I've known about it for a long time, and it's always been on one of those where I'm a big tomato meter guy, and that one actually has like a pretty high tomato score, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I think so, yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's one I should watch. If the tomato meter tells me to, I have to see it.
You've seen every high-rated tomato meter movie, right?
As long as it's not rotten. I swear to God, if I watch a rotten tomato movie, I'm gonna throw up as I watch it.
I think when I went to go see Man of Steel, it was at 60%. And as I walked in, I checked my phone, went down to 59, and I walked out and I got my refund on my ticket. So I know the feeling.
Yeah, there's only 20 minutes left of the movie. Refund.
It has a 59. It was barely on the edge. To Live and Die in LA. It's kind of like one of those just cult movies. It's kind of persisted with time. And it's William Friedkin, which is one of my favorite directors. And I thought, why not? I wanted to rewatch it. So here we are doing it for the podcast. I might as well, if I want to rewatch a movie, force Ryan to watch it as well.
You should.
As I should. But this one is, I guess, might as well say it now. This one is the soundtrack's fully done by Wang Chung people. I forgot about this element. Yeah, Wang Chung does the score, does the instrumentals, as well as vocal tracks, including a title track, To Live and Die in LA. So it's very 80s synthy. Actually, it's quite a bit of fun. Their hit Dance Hall Days shows up in this.
I know. I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
Wang Chung doesn't ever get enough credit for the movies they compose.
Have they composed more?
I don't know, but they should. Can you imagine if Wang Chung won an Oscar for this movie?
That would have been awesome. I'm saying it right now. That would have been crazy, actually. Or if the main song was nominated for best song or something, and Wang Chung won for it. I don't know. I'm up for it because there was something I liked about there's a strip club scene, and that's the scene they play Dance Hall Days, and you've played Vice City, right? And the dance club, and it plays this song in the dance club, and I was like, oh my God, this is just like the game Vice City.
They had to take that from this.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was totally I'm sure it was very much inspired by it. But yeah, so this movie stars William Petersen as who you might know from CSI. That's what I know him from, but he's in some movies here and there, including the 12 Angry Men remake, of course,
and Manhunter.
And Manhunter, of course. And Dang it, I had something else. He's in something else. I think Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. He's in that one
Oh,
too. Yeah, I don't. He kind of a weird actor. But in this one, he plays a Secret Service agent, which I thought was kind of funny. So just to like,
uh,
oh, go ahead.
no, yeah, I was hoping you'd add context to this,
Yes.
please.
Yeah, so a little peek behind the curtain. We do record our episodes a little bit early and we pick our movies early as well. When I had picked this movie, for one, I didn't know it was about a Secret Service agent. In my head, I thought it was just about a regular cop. And two, it was before President Donald Trump was had a planned or not planned, was almost assassinated, and the Secret Service kind of fumbled up a little bit. So just the real world's
Nathan,
intersecting with my movie choice.
Nathan, are you trying to tell us something? There's like some kind of
No,
coded
no, no, no,
message
no,
here.
none here. No, was not planning that. Well, anyway, I mean, at the beginning of the movie, we get the Secret Service taking down a
I,
terrorist, and the terrorist dies.
when I saw like the beginning of this movie, because I saw the president thing and I'm like, okay, and then but then they're like, oh, Secret Service agents, and then the I mean the other one was like a planned terrorist attack to assassinate the president in a hotel, or and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like
Yeah, of course. I was like watching it and I was like, wow, this is insane timing for me picking this movie. Like, it's so weird.
yeah, I was shocked. I was like, I was not expecting a plan like this movie to be so topical. Because I mean,
Right.
because that event happened on a Saturday, and I was watching this on the following Monday, and I'm like, oh my god, like,
Yeah. It's still very fresh, a lot fresher than it is probably when this airs. Which is I don't know, it's just kind of crazy being here now.
yeah,
But anyway, that whole part of it, really, the protecting the president part of the movie, is really just the intro, because he is a Secret Service agent in LA, and the president's just visiting. He kills the terrorists that almost gets the president, in a really interesting shot where they push him off the roof and he explodes midair. But his partner, he does the whole line, "I'm getting too old for this shit," and then cut to the credits. And then the rest of the movie is about the hunt for a counterfeiter, played by Willem Dafoe. Um, God, his name is Rick Masters. Yeah.
well, what a name.
Yeah, what a name. Rick Masters. And then William Petersen's character name is Richard Chance. Just funny. Oh, and I should say this movie is co-written by an actual Secret Service agent. So this is just like Friedkin's Cruisin', where they actually got where he's like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna let a real guy in on this as well. So I think that's fine.
He's like, yeah, this actually happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's maybe not that it actually happened, but it's like based on real events kind of deal. But I doubt it. Who knows? But this is like the most hardcore counterfeiter. Just like brutal, will kill anyone in his way, evil, and there's a really crazy sequence of him counterfeiting money, which I guess is close to like real counterfeiting. I guess any parts of that scene that doesn't have Willem Dafoe's face is the hands of somebody who has actually counterfeited money before. So the sequence is pretty close to real life, which I think is interesting. As like the cutting of the paper, putting it in the dryer, just making a checklist at home, right?
Yeah, I was writing all of it down.
Yeah, exactly.
But one thing I did want to know about this movie, I mean, this is just me not knowing. What is the jurisdiction of Secret Service? I'm like, okay, like,
I
are
was
they just
wondering the
like,
same thing.
I'm like, are they just caught? Like, what is their deal? Like, are they just an extension of the FBI or something? And because like in my head, this is just me, like, I had knowing, it's like Secret Service
Mhm.
is pretty much there just to keep the president safe at all times. But it's like they're like detectives now, and it's
Yeah,
really weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what, and I still don't. I should have done my research on what a Secret Service agent is, but I feel like I learned that from this movie that I mean, it has to be somewhat true that they would go after counterfeiters, but I always thought counterfeiting was more like the FBI's deal or something like that. Secret Service was strictly protecting the president. I guess not, though.
He's never near the pres. Like he's near the president at the beginning of the movie, but then it's like
Mhm.
president is like completely gone from the rest of the movie, and I'm like, so that's why I was just like, why even be a Secret Service agent at that point?
Yeah, exactly. But I guess it has something to do with the
That
government.
that's just me being ignorant. I'm sorry to all the Secret Service agents that are giving their life out there.
Oh yeah, if you're a Secret Service agent, please email us what your job entails, and we'd love to hear from you.
Well, they listen in all the time. They're always listening.
They really are. Um, but but no. So what we have that, or what happens is, will I should say, Richard Chance's partner goes to investigate Rick Masters and gets shot in the process, and that kind of
I,
starts. Oh, go ahead.
I gotta say one thing because you don't this is not gonna make any sense to you, but I was but the character's name for his partner
Hmm.
is, do you remember what it is?
I don't know.
It's Jimmy Hart,
Okay.
and that's like the same name as a of a wrestling manager, like a manager in wrestling.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Was he
and
famous at that time?
uh yeah, I think so. I mean, because that was what, 85, you said,
85,
86?
yeah.
He was getting there, yeah. But he always came out in these like really flashy sports coats, and he had a megaphone and he would scream all the time.
That's cool. I'd hope maybe Friedkin is a wrestling fan and add that as a little nod.
He could have been.
Yeah, who knows? So I guess as we're moving on to the plot, William Petersen, his partner dies and it becomes a downfall and he becomes obsessed. And I mean, it's pretty much a cop detective movie. That's what it is. And he becomes a bad cop, as in, I will do anything to take down this counterfeiter. Um, it kind of goes through those same motions, but there's something about this movie. It has a really interesting style, and the only way I can explain it is it's very 80s. It's got a lot of bright color tones, but it's also extremely dark, and it's very gritty, very shaky cam. And I think it all comes from, I guess, while filming this movie, Friedkin many times only did one take, and also would tell actors that they were rehearsing, but it was the first take, and he would take that. He said it added a sense of immediacy. I put that in quotations. I don't know quite what that means. So I think it's surprising how well the acting comes out whenever it's just rehearsals and first takes we're watching. Because if I heard that for a different movie, I feel like I would be like, wow, that's a recipe for something really awful.
I'd be like, oh wow, that's really lazy.
Yeah, yeah, but it's Friedkin. He's a cinema
he
master.
he just wanted to go home early that day.
Yeah, yeah, he was going through a divorce. It was really hard, so he just wanted to go home. Um, but no, I guess it had something to do with just wanting to add some realism to the movie. Um, but William Petersen, he gets a new partner who's kind of squirrely, doesn't he wants to play a little more by the rules, and it's funny what we're talking about on Thursday, the parallels of what we've picked here.
They
Um,
paired quite nicely.
they really did. It was a good double feature. There's a really great sequence where they both John Turturro's in this movie, who's like this is really early in his career, um,
Hmm.
and he's a counterfeiter or he's laundering counterfeited money. And there's a chase scene in an airport where they're having to run all through it, and there's this really cool scene where William Petersen's running like between the walking, what do you call those? Walking moving sidewalks, and he runs on it,
Hmm.
which I guess they weren't allowed to do because it broke insurance. So they're just breaking all the rules with this movie.
It seems like something William Friedkin would do. I mean, he's known for like doing stuff where he's just like Yeah, I'm gonna do that anyway.
Exactly. I don't care. Yeah, he's known for that, breaking the rules and being brutally honest. But no, they do finally catch John Turturro, and this is way later in the movie, but I think it was such a stupid move. So they make a deal with him to like he will rat out who's counterfeiting the money if they just take him somewhere. And so William Petersen takes him in handcuffs. He's like, "Can I see my dying daughter in the hospital, please?" And then like he convinces William Petersen to go take him to the hospital and unhandcuff him, and he just gets the crap beat out of him and he gets away. I'm like, are you serious? Did you really let
Yeah,
this happen?
I was like this is so dumb. Like like why would you even agree to this?
I know exactly. Um, no,
And I yeah, like there's a lot of stuff like that. I mean, I'm gonna say like the movie for me, it's a very slow movie, a very slow
mm-hmm,
burn.
mm-hmm.
Um, I do like the tone of a lot of the scenes in here, though. I mean, I do
Yeah.
like the mood that it sets. So this movie is kind of like a vibe movie, I guess, if you want to
Mm.
put it
No,
that way.
it's perfectly how that's exactly the way to put it. It's a style movie. It's a movie more focused on being stylish and having that mood over like a really like strong. I mean, the plot's there, but it's not like strong. It doesn't have strong beats for
It's not
most of it.
complicated or anything like that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's I mean, like the real standouts for me, is probably Willem Dafoe in the
Oh,
movie.
he's so good in this movie.
Like he is just on another level, like compared to everybody else. And
Yeah, exactly. Uh yeah, he's doing some great villain work, and just like his setup where he's like an artist, but he just like burns his art, like he just destroys it if he doesn't like it. Um
I because I liked a lot of the stuff he did, and I because one thing you're saying about John Turturro is that he was locked up in prison, and John Turturro was actually pretty much like, I'm not ratting out on anybody at first.
mhm,
He's like, I don't care if I die or what, I'm
mhm.
I'm not saying a word. But William Dafoe is still like, I'm not taking that chance, and
Exactly.
he pays it. He actually has to pay a guy to go in there to try to kill John Turturro, and John Turturro is able to avoid that, and he goes back to the guy that hired the hit
Mhm.
and was like, hey, I need my money back. Then no good, and the guy's like, I don't have it. He's like, well, better shit it out because I'm gonna and so like he just shows like how deranged like he's just like he just doesn't care anymore because the guy's like, I promise you'll die. He's like, no, we're past that point now. Like I want my money back.
Yeah, well, there's a guy who leaked information, and Willem Dafoe sends his wife in the movie or girlfriend in the movie out to like almost sleep with him to kind of leave the door open. And there's that great scene where he's about to sleep with her, and the door's
Mm-hmm.
open, and he just walks in and he scares the crap out of the
Oh
guy.
yeah, the lawyer guy that's
Yeah,
in
the
there.
lawyer. Yeah,
Max Grossman, I think his name is.
Max Grossman. Yes, you're right. Max
Yeah, because
Max Waxman. Max Waxman.
Waxman. Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was the thing. Like she was sent to get the information and kind of like seduce him
Hmm.
because but yeah, he just like appears out of nowhere, just and just he gets what he needs and just kills the guy. Like that's a lot of like one thing I was surprised at is just how old, pretty violent some of the deaths are in this movie. It's never
Hmm.
like somebody gets shot and they fall over type of thing. Like it's
Hmm.
very gruesome deaths like that. Like when William Petersen's partner goes
Hmm.
alone, it's like his head like literally blown off by a
Yeah.
shotgun, and like
Yeah.
that. I was like half of his skull, like they show it like just like it's like clean off,
Yeah. It's shocking. It
and
is.
and even in this one, like when he shoots the lawyer, he shoots the guy right in the right on the guy's crotch,
Yeah,
and the guy's
exactly.
like like just screaming.
Yeah, and there's another one because they get a tip later somebody handling the counterfeit money, and it's an inside agent. It's somebody that's already working the case. Um, and they make this guy get down on his knees, and this is William Petersen and his partner. This shows you how off the deep end they are getting to try to get this guy. And they just like he gets shot, not by them, it's by people watching out, and like he's on the ground just dying, and they're just staring, like, or his partner's just staring
Yeah.
at his dead body. And there was something about that was just really dark.
Well, that's one thing I did like about the movie, just how far William Petersen's like willing to go for this case,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the whole thing. Like they're trying to hire Willem Dafoe, and I think they needed 30 grand or something
Yeah,
like
of
that,
real
and
money.
real money, because and in order from the in order to just get like attached to him, and the cop, like the Secret Service people are like, we ain't giving you that, like no way, we're giving you 30
Yeah.
grand to just blow. And then so what they do is like they have to go steal it from another undercover agent, but so it just turns like this big thing, and like you said, that guy ends up dying.
Mm-hmm.
And his partner, like when they, because he goes to like the briefing room, sorry, goes to the briefing room at the start of the day and was like, hey, by the way, undercover agent Ling died today. And then like his partner is just like, oh my god, like
Like
he's just
shaking.
like he is like so taken aback that like their actions led to this guy
Yeah.
dying. and
And that's like one of my
and
favorite scenes of his partner like talking to William Petersen in the stairway and be like, what, they're looking for us. And William Petersen's just like, whatever.
yeah,
They don't got nothing. And they have
completely
their hair color and
non-bothered. Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, they were in a Chevy, and like
Mhm.
they're just like naming all this stuff. And but like you said, he's completely non. He's like, yeah, whatever. Like as long as we get this guy in, who cares? That this guy
Exactly.
died.
And this is after causing a huge traffic accident on the LA freeway, which is one of the craziest parts of this movie. So there's a huge chase scene, and it goes on for maybe 15 minutes or so. And they're running through the whatever, wherever they are in Terminator 2, the reservoir in
Yeah,
LA. They
everybody goes there. Yeah,
Exactly. They drive through there, but the big thing of this is they end up driving on the wrong side of the highway, and it's packed. Like it's so busy, and I don't know how they did the stunt well, because the way this car is weaving through just loads and loads of cars is actually really surprising. And they cause like a huge pile up on the highway, but they do get away. This scene is shot and edited really well, but if there's somebody that can film a car chase scene, it would be Friedkin, because he made the most famous one, the French Connection one.
I was just thinking that because there's a scene where you see William Petersen driving, and it's like the
Mhm.
same camera angle, like so you'd see like Gene Hackman. I was like, oh, this almost looks like exactly like the shots from French Connection.
Exactly. It feels like he's just like, oh, you know what? I'll do it again. Why not?
Yeah.
Um, but no, I do agree. I think one of my favorite parts of this movie is seeing Peterson's just kind of he really falls it deep. His eyes almost become sunken. He doesn't care about anyone. He's got a girl he's sleeping with for information, and whenever she wants more out of it, he pretty much just like shuts her down, and it's just like, I'm only using you for information. That is all I need, really.
Yeah, well, that's like a whole like love triangle thing that's going on,
Hmm.
because you get William Petersen and that and Willem Dafoe's girlfriend, like
Hmm.
they're hooking up on the side and everything. He's
Hmm.
basically just like, I need you for information, and if tell me what I need to know, I won't bring you in, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's not really like a relationship of love or whatever. It's just like out of convenience more than anything.
Exactly. I guess we got Dean Stockwell's in this movie. Got to bring that up. He plays like a crooked lawyer in this movie, who's working with Willem Dafoe, but also is playing it like he's working with the partner cop. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like this back and forth between both of them. I think he's pretty good in this. It's not a very large role in the movie.
No, I don't. I didn't realize I was eating Stockwell. I was like, at first, I was like, it looks like Oliver Stone.
Yeah, we got Oliver Stone. Why not? One of those director cameos.
Yeah, yeah, it seemed like something he would do, even though that was like before Platoon. So
Right, yeah. But I guess one of the most shocking parts of this movie, I don't know if you felt this way. I completely forgot this happened. And this is a huge spoiler, by the way. We're getting into crazy spoiler territory. But the main character of this movie, William Petersen, in the last 10 minutes of the movie, gets shot and killed. And it's not very big either. He gets a shotgun. He ends up cornering Willem Dafoe. You know, they get the money and everything, and they have a gun on him, and they're like, "You're under arrest," because they made the deal. They know he's the counterfeiter, or they have proof that he's the counterfeiter. But a bodyguard pulls out a shotgun while he's doing this, shoots him in the head, and I was like, I think I said an audible "holy shit" like at that moment, because I was like so taken aback, because it's like not played for anything, and then it's like, oh, it's the partners movie now.
yeah, well, like that happened, I was like, wait a second, and like I rewind it, and I was because I was just like, wait, that really just happened, like,
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy.
you just you don't expect like they've done that in movies before, like Psycho being one where it's you're with
Yeah.
one character for half the movie, and it's like, oh, surprise, this is the real main character or
Hmm.
whatever after the halfway, but not in the finale of the movie where it's like, no, okay, now this guy's the main character. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and in an interview that I watched with William Friedkin, he was like, some people didn't like it, but in Psycho, they didn't tell Hitchcock not to change the main character. And I was thinking that I was like, but it's like the last 10 minutes of the movie. But it's cool. It's a little daring. It adds a little flavor. I just maybe wish I would have liked and this is maybe nitpicky, but the partner just isn't that strong enough of a character to be a
No.
lead in the movie. Just the actor. William Petersen just has a presence, and like a very dark presence. And then I think it's Jack Pankow that plays him. He's just not amazing in that role.
No, and like even like beforehand, we don't spend like a ton of time with the partner like beforehand. So
Mhm.
it's like, oh no, he's the real star now. He's the hero. And I'm like, I guess like
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, the angle I thought they were going to go for was that Willem Dafoe was just going to get away with it now. Like, a very, very like depressing ending. But it ends up having a big scene where Willem Dafoe's burning all of his counterfeit money, and the partner shows up, and Willem Dafoe accidentally lights himself on fire. So everything does come out all right. Like, they get the bad guy, just the star of the movie's dead now. Um,
Yeah, but I guess like the real angle at the end where they William Petersen had basically sunk into these depths, like, I don't care what it takes, we're getting this guy type of thing. And
mhm.
his partner was kind of like the guy, like, no, we need to play it by the books. And but at the end of the movie, Willem Dafoe's girlfriend was like, I'm out of here, I'm leaving LA,
Mhm.
I'm out. But then he shows up at her door, and then he starts acting like William Petersen. He's like, no, no, you work for me now.
See, that's the thing. I thought that was a little lame, because he's like wearing a
That was
jacket like him, and he
I
kind of
yeah.
looks like him. And it's like, yeah, I'm a real bad guy. I was not convinced by
I
that.
didn't buy that. I was like, that is like that's a little too on the nose. That's too silly.
Exactly. It's like, oh, look, he got to him. And I was like,
Full circle.
yeah, no. If it was a different actor, maybe. Um, but overall, I'd say, Ryan, I really like this movie. I would even say I love this movie. I watched it the morning of recording this, and I was really into it. I have some issues with it, but I'm a man who likes style, and this movie is a lot of style. It really has a strong mood, and I was digging it.
So we just what I'm hearing for the last two of your picks. We need to just go back and watch all the movies you didn't like, and maybe you're gonna love them now.
I think so. I think I love a good rewatch. I love a rewatch where I get a better appreciation for a movie. Because yeah, don't I always say, I can't trust my own opinions, and it's very true. This one rocked.
No, yeah, I liked it.
Hmm.
It's It's got a great style to it. I enjoyed all the performances, and it's a really good movie. I liked it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, then I guess that means it's a double recommendation, right?
No, I don't recommend it. Not this one's just for me.
Okay, cool. You're gonna, what do they call it? Gatekeep this movie?
Yeah, email me and I'll let you know if you're allowed to watch it or not.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, email Ryan. I recommend it. I'll let
I
you guys watch it. Listen to me, but if you want both of our permission, email Ryan.
No, yes, I do recommend it. It's a good movie.
All right, cool. Well, then I think that wraps it up for To Live and Die in LA. But Ryan, what are we going to be covering on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, well, we're gonna take a break from the Secret Service cops, and we're gonna focus on some real cops here, Nathan. You
Yeah.
know, something we've never seen before, and that's a violent cop.
Wait, I've never seen a violent cop in a single one of our movies.
Never, never. So this is going to be a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
So yes, this movie is called Violent Cop. It is for free right now on Tubi, so you can watch that right now.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to watch that one. And if you want to email us, be sure to email us at driveanddoubleFeaturePodcast@gmail.com. Please send us any recommendations. I would love to cover whatever you guys want to hear about. You can also tweet at us over at DIDFpod. But until next time.
Until next time.